I'm happy to introduce Jim Middleton. His title is a mouthful. He's Professor of Mathematics Education at ASU, and he's also Associate Senior Vice Provost and Director of the Center for Research and Education in Science, Mathematics, Engineering, and Technology, STEM. It's a real pleasure to have Jim here. The timing is just right after another successful science fair. Jim is, although all that title means to me, is he's the go-to man in terms of STEM education here in the state of Arizona, and if you read his full resume, you'd know that he's one of the leaders in the country in that field. So I think we're all looking forward to hear what Jim has to say. Let me just briefly, though, tell you a little story about how I met Jim. It tells you a little bit about the kind of guy he is. We met at Arizona Town Hall just a year ago this month. In fact, Arizona Town Hall, I left this on everybody's table. There should be plenty of copies just to remind you of what that terrific organization does. You know, they meet 2 times a year, gather people from all corners of the states, all of the state of Arizona, all political persuasions, all sizes and types, to work on the knotty problems that face Arizona going forward. And the topic actually this month is transportation in Arizona. Last year when Jim and I were in Prescott, the topic was who will teach our children going forward? What are the characteristics of the kind of teachers that we'd like to have, and how are we going to get them? It was a terrific experience for me. It's been described, I think Tara Jackson, who spoke here last year, described what goes on at the Arizona Town Hall in the 2 days we're there as an organized food fight. Because you can imagine people from all persuasions, there are 150 people at each of these events. And then they break us down into groups of 30 that meet for a day and a half, and then we convene in a grand plenary session to try to figure out what we all agree on. But just to give you a sense of the complexity of our small group of 30, we had teachers, we had staff members in high schools, and we had people from local school boards. We had union leaders in our small group. We had Randy Pullum, the head of the Republican Party here in the state of Arizona. We had people, I had had an Arizona driver's license for a month when I went there. And I sat next to Marshall Trimble, who I think here was when God created Arizona. So you get a sense of what was going on and all the possible conflict that's there. And what was interesting to me, and the reason I spotted Jim, was that, you know, whenever that happened, what made that conflict productive was when Jim Middleton would step in with his just good common sense and help us all to understand what the real stakes were, where the real differences were, and what we could do. So it's a real pleasure for me to introduce Jim Middleton to you.
Thank you very much. I certainly don't deserve any applause coming from the Kiwanis Club. My father was a Kiwanian. I myself came through the Key Club, and I got a Key Club scholarship to college. I grew up in a little rural community in northeastern California where logging and ranching were the primary industries, and now there's no logging and there's no ranching, and all we have is the prison. And that's good business, and that's unfortunate. We want to change that. Those are the real stakes. So I'm going to talk a little bit about promoting science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education in Arizona, and conclude with some of the things that Kiwanians can do to help us in the state, and particularly in your community, improve the lot of children in the world, to improve the economic opportunities in Arizona, to help more people engage in the American dream, because those are the outcomes that are important. Achievement on state tests are important. I won't say they're not, but those are only intervening variables. Those are only markers that help us try to understand what the real outcomes are, and that's helping our children, your grandchildren, and those on down the line make the world better for them having been here. And I think science and technology and mathematics have a great stake in that, particularly in Arizona. And I believe fundamentally that there's no better time to be a school child in the United States of America than right now. We have better teachers than we've ever had, and they're under fire. We need to support them. Are they always Am I satisfied? No, but that's my fault. I need to do a better job as a professor at Arizona State, helping teachers do better. But they're better prepared now than they have been. But the stakes are so much higher, and the landscape has changed, and we have to be able to support them. And we have to create a new system of education. Our standards are rigorous. I was on the Math Standards Committee here in Arizona this last year, and they're far better than they were before. Am I satisfied? No. We have to continue to move forward, but they are rigorous and they are better, and they pose particular challenges for us. There are quality text materials that are available and affordable for now, but the cost of text, when we're talking in the hundreds of dollars per book now, it's getting beyond the capacity for school districts to be able to afford text. And we have to think about new ways of packaging materials so that children and teachers and parents and other learners will be able to have the resources they need to be successful. Technology. I'm a proponent of technology. It's more powerful, more applicable, and more ubiquitous now than ever. In China, entire degrees are being served up with one of these, a phone. Almost everybody has access, but not everybody does. And we have to make that access equitable, and we have to make it high-quality instruction. And I'm not advocating for phone-based degrees. The teachers are, by and large, well prepared, and I want to emphasize that because I will never ding the teacher. I will go and help teachers. Teachers are under the gun, under fire, and extremely difficult circumstances, and we need to support them. But we have to acknowledge that there are tremendous problems in Arizona. Underachievement. Our children, all of our children, are capable of achieving greater than they currently do. As gifted children, those are children of poverty, children whose motivations don't quite match what schools have to offer. We have to think about that. And there's a general anti-intellectual bias in American culture right now that we have to combat. When a person who is smart and wants to change the world through intellect, applying their intellect in engineering and other fields, is seen as a geek, and as someone who's less desirable than someone who's physically athletic. I was an athlete. Those two things are not antithetical to each other, but we have to value what is going to help our students be successful in the future. The dropout rate is woefully high in Arizona. We have to change that. There's inequitable access to high-quality education. There's a lack of curricular focus across the dimensions of education, so science and mathematics are not properly integrated. We do not, business and mathematics and science and writing are not tied together in ways that they should be. There's inattention to the application of technology, partly because of resources, but partly because of legacy practices where we can't think out of the box. And there's a shortage of teachers in a lot of areas, including music and the arts, as well as science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, my own field. And just read this morning that Peoria laid off 300 teachers. What's that going to do to the shortage when you have fewer teachers? It becomes more acute, and more children will have less opportunity. So a little update on the STEM teacher shortage. The Arizona Department of Education, you can see the numbers here.